Welcome to SUNN High School and Junior College Pune. Subject Information Technology. Standard 12th Science. Presented by Mr. Nitin Watgule. Today I am going to continue our first chapter, Advanced Web Designing Part 2. First we see Cascading Style Sheet in HTML5. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. CSS describes how HTML elements are to be displayed on the screen or paper or in other media. CSS allows you to control the look and feel of several pages by changing single file. Cascading Style Sheet syntax contains two things: selector and declaration block. For example, here selector is H1 and declaration block contain color property having the yellow value. What is selector? Selector indicates the HTML element you want to style. It could be any tag like H1, body, etc. Then what is declaration block? The declaration block can contain one or more declarations separated by a semicolon. In our example, there are two declarations, color and font size, having the value yellow and 11 pixels. Each declaration contains a property name and value separated by a colon. A property is a type of attribute of HTML element, for example color or border, etc. and values are assigned to a CSS properties. Types of CSS. There are three types of CSS. First is inline CSS, second is internal CSS, embedded style sheet, and third is external CSS. First we see inline CSS. Inline CSS is used to apply CSS on a single line or element. It uses the style attribute next to the HTML tag. In this example, the inline CSS is applied to the P tag by using style attribute. Second type is internal CSS or embedded style sheet. This is used to apply CSS on a single document or page. It is written inside the style tag within head section of HTML. To define this internal CSS, you can use all the HTML tags. In this example, we use the internal CSS or the H1 tag. Here in body section, the contents of H1 tag is changed to red. Third type is external CSS. The external CSS is generally used when you want to make changes on multiple pages. You can change the look and feel of entire website by changing one file by using external CSS. It uses the link tag on every pages inside the head section. Let's see one example of external CSS. Here link tag is used with its attribute inside the head section. Here style.css external file is used by using href attribute. This table shows all the CSS properties you can use in three different CSS types. You can use it in inline CSS, internal CSS and external CSS as per your requirement. Next is class selector. The class selector selects HTML elements with a specific class attribute. It is used with a period character, that is dot, followed by the class name. The class selector is used when you want to change a group of elements within your HTML page. Let's see the example. Here intro is the class selector followed by the dot, having two properties, text align and color. Class selector is declared by using the style tag within the head section. Here the above declared class intro is used in a H1 tag by using the class attribute. So the content of H1 tag will display in blue color with center aligned. Next is ID selector. The ID selector is similar to the class selector. Instead of dot, it uses hash character. It is written with the hash character followed by the ID name. In this example, we declared one ID para1 followed by the hash character. The declaration is within the head section by using the style tag. In the body section, we use this declared para1 ID in the p tag with the ID attribute. In this example, paragraph tag is used in 2 lines, but the content of first paragraph line will change because we used ID selector in first paragraph only. As a result, the text "Hello student" will display in blue color and align is centered. The new universal selector introduced in HTML5. The universal selector is used as a wildcard character. It selects all the elements on the web pages. This is an example where we used universal selector having the two properties color equal to green and font size equal to 20 pixels. When you run this program on the browser, you will get the output where all the contents of body tag will display in green color and having the font size 20 pixels. Next selector is group selector. The group selector is used to select all the elements with the same style definitions. It is used to minimize the code. Commas are used to separate each selector in grouping. This selector is useful when you want to give the same style effect to the different elements. If you want to declare the style effects text align equal to center and color equal to blue for 3 different selectors, instead of writing 3 lines, use only 1 line by using the group selector. Write 3 selectors separated by comma and then write declaration block with property name and values. Let's see the example. Here the group of 3 selectors H1, H2 and P is used by using the style tag within the head section with the common declaration block having the 2 properties text align equal to center and color equal to blue. When you execute this program on the browser, you will get the output where the content of all these 3 elements H1, H2 and P having the same effects text align equal to center and color equal to blue. Now we discuss about the positioning in CSS. CSS helps to position the HTML elements. The position property is used to set position for an element. The element can be positioned using the 4 properties top, bottom, left and right. So CSS helps you to display your HTML element on the web page where you want to display it. Using this syntax, you can declare the CSS positioning. Mention the selector and write declaration block having the property position where the values are fixed, absolute and relative. Also, you can use the top, bottom, left and right properties where values are in pixels. Types of positioning in CSS. There are 4 types of positioning in CSS. First is static positioning, second is fixed positioning, third is absolute positioning and fourth is relative positioning. First we see static positioning. This is a by default positioning for HTML elements. It is not affected by the top, bottom, left and right properties. Second type is fixed positioning. This property helps to put the text fixed on the browser. The fixed element will not move even when the page is scrolled. It forces an element into a fixed position relative to the browser window. Let's see one example with position equal to fixed. The content of 4th paragraph is fixed as we are using class equal to fixed. The class fixed is declared in the above head section by using the style tag with the position fixed. Let's see the output where the fixed position text is displayed. Third type is relative positioning. the relative positioning property is used to set the element relative to its normal position. Fourth type is absolute positioning. This property sets an element in a specific location. This property positions the element at the specified coordinates relative to your screen top to left corner. It is not affected by the flow of the page. In this example, we are using absolute and relative positioning. Relative positioning is used by using class attribute, where we set top margin is 10 pixels and right margin is 10 pixels. Absolute position is used by using h2 tag, where left margin is 100 pixels and top margin is 150 pixels. Now run the program on the browser and see the output. Here you notice that this is heading 1 text according to the top and left margins relatively, and second text, this is heading 2 according to the left margin 100 pixels and top margin 150 pixels. Float property. Float is a CSS property written in CSS file or directory in the style of an element. The float property defines the flow of contents. Now we see the types of floating properties. There are 3 types. First is float left, second is float right, and third is float none. First, float left keeps the elements float on left side of the container. Second, float right keeps the element float on right side of the container. And third, float none is the default property. That is, this shows the element as it is. This example shows 2 properties, float left and float right, with the help of class. Now use float left class in h2 tag, where the content is Bal Bharti. Now float right class use in h2 tag, where the content is also Bal Bharti. After completion of the program, run it on the browser and see the output. Here the text Bal Bharti displayed on the left side with the effect of float left property. Then the output shows 2 normal lines as it is with the help of p tag, and at the last the text Bal Bharti displayed on the right side affected by the float right property. So you can use this float property as per your requirement at any location on the web page. Next property is display property. The display property in CSS defines how the components are going to be placed on the web page. The components are div, hyperlinks, headings, etc. It specifies how the elements is displayed. This property is used to define the display of different parts of a web page. This is one of the useful property of CSS. Now we see how to use display property. First we see the syntax. Now here syntax is display colon and value, where the values are inline, block inline and none. So these are the 4 values used in display property. Here inline is used to display an element as an inline element. Block is used to display an element as an block element. Starts on a new line and take up the whole width of the browser window. Block inline value is very similar to the inline element, but the difference is that you are able to set the width and height. None value is used to remove the element completely. So these are the 4 possible values used with display property. Let's see the example. In this example, we use the display property with inline value in the P selector. In the body section, write 4 lines with the paragraph tag. Save the program and run on the browser. You will get the output where all the contents of 4 lines displayed in a single line. Let's see the another example. Here we use the display property with block value. with another attribute background color equal to orange with the help of A selector. Now write visit Balbharti in between A and close A tag in the body section as a hypertext. Save the program and run it on the browser and see the output. The output is displayed as a block with the content visit Balbharti as a hyperlink. We will continue the topics and subtopics of chapter 1 in our next video, part 3. Thank you.